Welcome to this masterclass explainer. If you're a high-level executive or a leader genuinely focused on building a lasting corporate culture, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking the foundational principles that separate fleeting, overnight success from true, lasting legacy. Our core thesis for this explainer is simple, but honestly, it's pretty profound. Lasting success doesn't come from superficial personality tricks. It requires deep, character-based integrity. So we're going to break down exactly how to transform yourself starting from the inside out.
Okay, let's dive into this step-by-step roadmap for today. 1. The foundation of character. 2. Achieving the private victory. 3. Leading the public victory. And 4. Sharpening your leadership saw.
Starting things off with Section 1, the foundation of character.
Now, before you can really lead a team, an organization, or a culture, you've got to look at the foundation you're building upon. Modern leaders absolutely have to shift their fundamental approach to problem solving. Research highlighted in our sources reveals this fascinating trend. For the last 50 years, success literature has been obsessively focused on what we call personality-based success. Quick fixes, managing your public image, communication tricks that are really just designed to impress people. But true foundational success, the kind studied in the 15 years prior to that, stems from character-based integrity. We're talking deep ethics, true honesty, and long-term values. You simply cannot build a lasting corporate culture on quick fixes. You have to build it on character.
To really ground this idea, let me share a brilliant analogy from the source material. Imagine a sudden corporate crisis is like a cockroach in a restaurant. The story goes like this. A roach flies in and lands on a woman's shoulder. She totally panics, screams, throws her hands up, and ends up tossing the roach onto another customer who also starts panicking. It's pure chaos. But then, a waiter approaches. The roach lands on his shirt. Now, instead of reacting with panic, he stands poised. He calmly observes the bug, confidently catches it with his fingers, and just throws it outside. The customers were totally reactive, right? But the waiter was proactive.
So the crucial takeaway here is the difference between these two mindsets. Reactive victims constantly blame the economy, the government, their boss, basically things entirely outside their control. We call this the circle of concern. But proactive leadership means taking 100% responsibility for your own actions. A proactive leader focuses entirely on their circle of influence. Those are the things they can actually change, like their attitude, their choices, and their responses. They don't just react to the chaos, they intentionally choose their response.
Which brings us to Section 2, achieving the private victory. That proactive mindset leads us perfectly into achieving this private victory. The sources make it abundantly clear. Before you can lead a team effectively, you have to master yourself. You cannot lead others if you can't lead your own life. And it starts with a really heavy question. If today was your funeral, what would you want people to say about your leadership legacy? It's intense, but it forces you to begin with the end in mind. Are you just mindlessly running on the corporate treadmill, or are you actually building something meaningful? Before you execute a single daily task, you need a clear vision of your ultimate destination. Because if you don't design your own life's plan, chances are you're just going to fall into someone else's.
So once you have that end goal, you have to actually structure your day around it using a proactive morning routine. First, define that ultimate goal. Second, block out time for your absolute highest impact tasks. And listen, do this before you even open your email and let the chaos of the world dictate your schedule. Finally, eliminate reactive distractions. If you don't purposefully put first things first, your entire day is just going to be eaten up by the urgent but totally unimportant demands of everyone else.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how you actually categorize those daily demands, because that dictates your success. As a high-level executive, your goal isn't just to do things fast, it's to do the right things. The sources urge leaders to spend as much time as humanly possible in the important but not urgent quadrant. This is where the magic happens. Long-term growth, relationship building, strategic planning. If you're always just putting out fires in the urgent and important box, you're going to burn out, for sure.
All right, let's move into Section 3, leading the public victory. Once you've established that private victory through self-mastery and time management, you are finally ready to build an incredible, lasting corporate culture. And that starts with utterly destroying the scarcity mentality. You know the one, that toxic corporate mindset where if a colleague gets a promotion or gets credit for a project, it means there's a smaller slice of pie left for you. True leaders operate on an abundance mentality. They know there's more than enough success, prestige, and profit to go around for everyone. An abundance mentality is the absolute bedrock for healthy, thriving teams that actually want to collaborate with each other.
To really illustrate this abundance mentality in action, the sources provide a fantastic real-world corporate scenario. Imagine a team facing a struggling client who wants to back out of a deal because their budget just got slashed. Now, a scarcity mindset would dictate aggressive, forceful negotiation to trap them in the contract, but an abundance mindset looks for a true win-win. In the source example, the team saves the deal by offering a flexible payment schedule and some customized content. The client gets exactly what they need to survive, and the company keeps a loyal, long-term partner. Flexibility literally creates mutual benefit.
But here's the catch. You can't reach a win-win if you have no idea what the other side actually wants. That brings us to this incredibly powerful quote: "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." The sources warn against this massive trap we all fall into, listening simply to formulate our reply. Think of the analogy from the text. Imagine going to an eye doctor because your vision is blurry. But without even checking your eyes, the doctor just takes off his own glasses, hands them to you, and says, "Hey, these work for me." It's absurd, right? Yet we do this in business every single day when we pitch solutions before truly understanding our team's or our client's actual problems.
When you actually take the time to truly understand your team, you can build what's called team synergy. Synergy simply means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The source material uses this beautiful analogy from nature. If you plant two plants close together, their roots actually intermingle. They combine to improve the quality of the soil, which boosts the growth of both plants way better than if they were planted far apart. By valuing differences and combining diverse strengths, your corporate team can create solutions that literally no single person could have developed on their own.
And finally, Section 4, Sharpening Your Leadership Saw. We've covered a massive amount of ground today, from inward character all the way to outward synergy. But how do you sustain this intense, character-driven performance year after year? Have you ever met an executive who proudly brags that they are too busy to exercise, read, or spend time with their family? The sources call this the lumberjack's dilemma. Imagine an exhausted lumberjack just hacking away at a tree with a completely dull blade. You tell him, "Hey, take 30 minutes to sharpen your saw," and he yells back, "I don't have time to sharpen the saw, I'm too busy cutting down the tree." It sounds totally ridiculous, right? But skipping your own personal renewal destroys your long-term productivity in the exact same way.
To keep your blade sharp, you need genuine balance across 4 critical areas of self-renewal to stave off burnout. You have to invest equally in your physical health, your mental growth, your social and emotional relationships, and your spiritual grounding. Basically, whatever gives your life deeper meaning and purpose. Neglecting even one of these quadrants literally dulls your effectiveness over time.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we can make this highly actionable right now. Here is your daily leadership checklist, drawn straight from the habits we've been discussing. Take 30 minutes for physical exercise. Take 15 minutes to read or learn something completely new. Dedicate time for empathic listening, like actually listening, with at least one colleague. And block out time for your spiritual or mental grounding. These are the small, actionable, daily proactive steps that truly build a character-driven leader.
Ultimately, it all circles back to this final, crucial question. What kind of legacy are you building today? The shift from being a reactive victim to a proactive, value-driven leader isn't just a one-time event. It's a continuous, character-driven journey. It requires you to consciously begin with the end in mind every single morning. Thank you so much for joining me for this masterclass explainer. Take these tools, sharpen your saw, and go build a culture that truly matters.